It is King Crowder back again with another edition of Untold Gems about the entire story of the U.S. history. This is a story not told to you in the United States classes or anything else you never met. Today's lesson, we're going to focus on the great Joshua Johnson. Joshua Johnson is a self-taught painting genius. You have mainly seen his artwork in Maryland and the influence of his culture. He was a painter, a portrait, and a curator who has some of the most influential pieces in our nation's capital and our founding states. Joshua Johnson was born from an enslaved family in 1763. His mother and father were both enslaved by an unnamed slave woman. When he was the product of a sexual assault and his children were born, Joshua Johnson taught himself few skills growing up. He was a blacksmith, and he also worked for many other things. What made Joshua Johnson so unique? He worked freehand. He worked in tax lien spaces all around Baltimore County. This gentleman highlighted how he grew what he saw in the casual art forms. Most pictures you see about the old Baltimore, did you know they were handcrafted by this gentleman? What he did is that he worked to sell things that people wanted in this area. Joshua Johnson was a self-made artist who wrote about enslavement time. He drew pictures of linear Baltimore cities, people in Maryland, and he also made sure all his paintings were signatured by himself. He was a freehand author who learned how textures and colors work. The reason why he was such a pioneer is that many of the paintings we've seen were not accredited to him. Think about the Star Spangled Banner painter. Think about the Justin Hall Pleasants. He has over 13 paintings who reconstructed life and his career as he saw it. You must think about how groundbreaking it was that a former enslaved person drew and painted from the eyes of the enslaver. Joshua Johnson mentioned race, life, and what he known as spelling errors growing up. His volume series are a replica about the former United States. Remember, we always mention the United States as it was founded at a certain time, but many of Mr. Johnson's lineage were in the United States before it was quote-unquote created. You must understand that he mentioned things about the war, the battles, the revolution, and other man-made portraits that we saw. Later on in life, you saw that Mr. Johnson did get married to his first wife known as Sarah. They had at least 4 children, 2 sons and 2 daughters. Both of his daughters passed away at a young age, which was very common around that time. Within 2 years, Mr. Johnson made at least 83 portraits toward the later end of his life, which are difficult to date. None of his work has been missing, and many are in the state of Maryland archives. Joshua Johnson, the iconic artist who was known as the modern-day Mecca of his time. Self-made, taught from slave to cultural icon. Maryland's very own Joshua Johnson. You will see images of his portraits in the videos coming up. I just want to take a moment to give this gentleman his flowers based off what he did to change the landscapes of paintings, portraits of Baltimore, and eyes and visions of an enslaved person. It's your boy, King Crowder, checking out. I hope you learned something today. I make these videos to educate you on what you were not taught on the great stories of America. Do me a favor, tap the subscribe button, show your support to this channel. All links and all ways you can support me in this vision going forward. It's your boy, checking out. Peace.